Hi, good evening. Welcome along to the Transfer Show. Really busy night of action in the Premier League this evening. But before that, we've got plenty of transfer news to bring you. Alongside former England, Manchester United and Tottenham striker Fraser Crandall. Great to see you, Fraser. Plus, of course, Tim Thornton and Dharmesh Sheth. Great to see you two, too. Marcus Rashford's future appears to be away from Old Trafford as his representatives hold talks with Manchester United to secure him a move this month. Manchester City are going to spend big money on reinforcements this window as they close in on the Bundesliga's joint top scorer. And we'll bring you news of a blow for Crystal Palace as Chelsea recall Trevor Chalobah. We'll tell you what that means for Mark Gahey. OK, but let's start with the very latest on Marcus Rashford's future. We understand his representatives are in talks with Manchester United over a potential loan move in this window. Ruben Amorim was asked about Rashford today.
How much would you like to see a resolution with this situation as far as where it's at and what's going on at the moment?
I just want to win tomorrow. My focus is to win tomorrow. I will choose the players that I think they are the best to win the game tomorrow. So I'm just focused on that.
Straight back from Ruben Amorim, Dharmesh. So what do we know?
Yeah, so what we do know is that Marcus Rashford's representatives are speaking to Manchester United over a potential loan move in this transfer window. We know that his representatives have been across Italy and in Spain, talking to clubs, talking over a potential deal. I just get the feeling that they will have done that before going to United so that Rashford and his camp can get a preferred destination where they want to go. And then that particular club or clubs will then negotiate with Manchester United. Because there's no point a club just trying to agree a deal with United, getting all of that over the line, and then find out that within a minute Marcus Rashford doesn't actually want to join that particular club. AC Milan, we know, have made Rashford a primary target in this window. It could be accelerated now that Kolo Muani is on his way to Juventus. All options, though, I'm told, are still on the table for Marcus Rashford. That could be a loan away from the club to a European team. There are Premier League clubs, of course, who are interested as well, or he could yet stay at United. Now, if he is there beyond February the 3rd, you would think that United will try and reintegrate him into the squad because they need him playing football wherever he is to make sure that his market value is of a good standard come the summer when potentially they'll reassess his future.
But what's interesting here is that he was dropped by Ruben Amorim for the Manchester derby in December. So he's not played since before that game against Nottingham Forest. So it's now 8 games that he's not featured for Manchester United and no immediate sign of a resolution. As a footballer, that is not good for Marcus Rashford, especially when he has England ambitions. Thomas Tuchel coming in, he'll be desperate to impress him with a World Cup 18 months away. Yeah,
there he is training. Fraser, is this a sad end to what should have been a glorious career at Manchester United?
Yeah, it is. You know, as a Man United fan myself, you always want to see the youth, as they've done over the past, come through and do really well for the first team, and he has done that. But you know, at the minute he's fallen out of favour with the manager, or he's fell out of love with the game, or whatever it is. He's not producing what we have been seeing in the previous seasons, and it's caused him to get left out of the team. So it'd be great come 1st of Feb to have a definite plan, whether that means he goes out on loan or he just knuckles down and starts playing some football and showing us how good he is, because he's an unbelievable talent. It's just not happening for him.
Is there an added pressure when you come through the ranks at Manchester United?
I think it is, yeah, because it means that little bit more to you. You know, he's from the local area. You know, all his friends and family probably all majority Man United fans, and you know, he'll want to do well for his team. For whatever reason, it's just not happening for him, and you know, sometimes it's best to just go play somewhere else if you can't get over that.
Do you think that's what he needs? He needs to go?
I think maybe he needs a change of scenery. I was hoping that the new manager would come in and it would give him a new lease of life, and he would kick on from 2 seasons ago when he scored the 30 goals or whatever, and that would what he's need. But you know, the new manager's come in and that's not happened, so something has to change.
Is there an element of, we saw Erik ten Hag make a statement about Cristiano Ronaldo when he wanted to get him out of the club.
Yeah.
Is there a parallel to be drawn here with Ruben Amorim and Marcus Rashford, and almost a message to the rest of the squad? It doesn't matter who you are, it's going to be my way now.
Maybe there is an undertone of that, but it feels a bit. that Ten Hag Ronaldo felt a bit more hostile than this. You know, Rashford came out and said, you know, whatever happens, you know, we're leaving on good terms. So hopefully that's the theme for it all. And you know, if he does go, it's in good spirits. But if he stays, you know, he'll get a revival, and we'll see a better performances from him.
You're a United fan. What do you think? Do they need to strengthen in this window?
I really don't like the January transfer window. You know, it seems like people just panic buy a little bit. But United, for me, the left-back situation is, you know, they've not had a Luke Shaw, brilliant player, but he's not being fit for as long as we need him for. So it's, you know, I think that would be the area that I'd probably be looking at. But you know, give the manager time with the current players that he's got, and see where that takes him.
Manchester United in ongoing talks over the future of Antony. Real Betis, one of the clubs interested in him. Is he one of the players that they need to move on in this transfer window?
Again, I don't really like January moving on, but if he wants to go out and play some more football, get back to the Antony that we saw at Ajax, because we've seen little glimpses of it over his time at United, but just not consistent.
Could he still have a future if he were to go out, do well somewhere else and come back?
Well, I think he's a good player. He's relatively young. He's got the talent. It's not worked for him as of yet. So, you know, I wouldn't suggest selling him in January. I'd prefer maybe a loan to get more minutes under his belt.
All right, let's talk Manchester City now. We saw Omar Marmoush yesterday tear it up again in the Bundesliga. He's on his way to Manchester City, or at least we think he is. Tim, how close is this one?
Not far away from a deal, we're being told by our colleagues in Germany. So this one is edging closer. Still a little bit of a gap in terms of the valuation, but City will push for an agreement within the next 48 hours. He played last night, a goal, an assist. It means that he's joint top scorer in the Bundesliga now with Harry Kane, and they've got a game on Friday against Dortmund, so it remains to be seen whether he's in the squad for that game if he isn't. And we expect that he probably won't be, because we think this will accelerate over the course of the next few days. Then this looks a goer.
Mind you, I was adamant he wasn't going to play yesterday, so we'll see. Dharmesh, Vitor Reis, what's going on with this one?
City aren't messing around, are they? It's very unlike them actually to go this big in a January transfer window. If all the deals that we're talking about go through, we're talking in excess of £100 million spend in a January transfer window. Vitor Reis, this one looks close as well. Man City have got an agreement in principle with Palmeiras. We think the fee is around £29.4 million. It's a fixed fee without any bonuses. Final details we think are being sorted. The player himself is still out in Brazil, just waiting for that green light from Palmeiras to say, yep, everything's agreed. Off you go to the UK for your medical.
Tim Abdulkadir Kusanov, is this one close?
That one was close. I think this one is even closer. It's just about tying up the formalities. We're expecting him in the UK. So, yeah, this one's pretty much over the line. We're just expecting him to come over and complete the deal.
Fraser, Dharmesh just said it. City going big in January. Yeah. Is this as a result of the fact they are struggling?
They're not doing as well as we'd expected them to be. You know, they didn't buy that many players in the summer. And I think that's cost them a little bit with the injuries that they've had. Their injury list is massive, and you know, key players like your Rodri, your Kevin De Bruyne, who have been massive to their success over the years, have been missing for long periods. So yeah, I think if they end up spending big this January, that's probably a reflection of that. But you know, they've got the power to do that, haven't they? And they're not signing poor players either. It'd be great to see these players in the Premier League.
They're looking at centre backs and a striker. Yeah. Do they need to strengthen in midfield though?
Yeah, probably. It just depends how long the players are injured. The squad's, you know, they've probably got second to none, their squad. But the injuries have really crippled them this year. So I don't think they should go over the odds for another midfielder. But if something comes up that's, you know, feasible, then yeah, definitely.
OK. Well, City, as Tim just said, close to getting another striker. Everyone, it seems, wants a striker. Arsenal, Tottenham amongst those. Fraser, do you feel that there's not that many top strikers out there?
No, that's exactly it. You know, to get a top striker in your team, you're in a tiny bracket, and that's what you're saying. Like you said, all the clubs want that 20-goal a season man, and they're in high demand, but there's not that many around. You know, you've got your Harry Kanes, your Lewandowskis, but you know, they're not available at the minute, and it's really difficult to find those gems that maybe are unknown that will become top strikers. But But yeah, it's a real problem for a lot of big teams.
Is Alexander Isak in that top bracket?
I think he's had a brilliant start to the season, burst onto the scene a few years ago, and he looks like he could be top striker. So, you know, he's doing well at Newcastle. I like to see him have another good season at Newcastle and then, you know, go to one of the top 4 teams, because I think he's got the ability, the goal scoring now, the all-round game, to be fair, to be someone that can score the 20 plus goals a season. I really enjoy watching him play.
Not so long ago, we were talking about Kolo Muani costing PSG around £80 million to get him from Eintracht Frankfurt. Now we're looking at him potentially going on loan. There were a couple of clubs, United were looking at him, Tottenham were looking at him. I think we can see pictures of him now. That's him arriving for a medical now at Juventus. So it looks like he's chosen to go to Juventus. What do you make of him? And is that an illustration of the fact that there are a lot of clubs now? And does it please you that we're actually talking about strikers again? Because the modern game, it seems like, oh, we'll have that false 9 or we'll play a front 3, as opposed to the out-and-out number 9. I suppose Haaland brought it back, didn't he? Yeah,
like you're saying, back in the day it was the big and the little guy, and then now we moved away from that to the Spanish false 9 and all. So it's good to see, you know, powerhouses like your Haalands, that back to play, power, strength and pace, because it makes it a bit more variation. It's a bit boring watching the tiki-taka type of football. You want to see some physicality. Well, I know I do, the Haaland type player, and it's great to see more of them emerging, just to give us a bit more variation.
Of all these strikers that we've been talking about, who would you have liked to have played alongside?
God, probably Haaland. He scores all the goals and it made me look good.
You got a move in January, didn't you, in your career?
Yeah.
You've said you don't like January. What's it like as a player? You move in January and you're expected to hit the ground running. What's that like?
It's for me, obviously, I was at Sunderland and I wasn't playing very much, so for me it was like a breath of fresh air. Going somewhere new, went down to Cardiff. They were doing really well. I dropped into the team. I was nowhere near fit enough, but you know, it was my adrenaline that got me through it, and it ended up working out well. But it can quite easily go the opposite way. You know, if you don't quite fit into the system, you're struggling with not playing, as many players are when they're moving in January. So it is a risk. But you know, so hopefully, in my case, it paid off, and yeah, hopefully we see some today.
Yeah. Dharmesh, you've got a line from Arsenal.
Yeah, this is to do with Kieran Tierney. He's actually on the bench for Arsenal in tonight's North London derby. But Celtic, we're told, are close to agreeing pre-contract terms with Kieran Tierney and his representatives. He's only got 6 months left on his contract. Arsenal did have the option to extend that for a further 12 months, but they haven't exercised that option. So he's free to talk to clubs outside England. Celtic was always going to be a lure for him, having been there before. But we're also told that Celtic will look and explore the possibility of actually taking him on loan for the rest of the season, in which case they'd have to speak to Arsenal, and that will especially be the case if they qualify for the Champions League knockout stages. If they don't, they probably can wait until the summer. They've probably got enough players in their squad. But in addition to this, Sky Italy are reporting that Como are interested in a loan for the Barcelona left-back Alex Valla. And I will bring that connection in just a moment. He's currently on loan at Celtic, and they understand any move for him will hinge on Tierney joining Celtic on loan. Another player who's on the bench for Arsenal today is Alexander Zinchenko. Now, he's interesting Borussia Dortmund. He's got 18 months left on his contract. If an offer came in for him, I think Arsenal will look at it.
OK, I want to rattle through a few more stories from today, Tim. Crystal Palace, Trevor Chalobah back at Chelsea with immediate effect. How much of a blow is that for Palace?
I think it's a blow in one sense, but a week ago we were talking about Mark Gahey possibly going to Chelsea. They were interested in taking him back there. So the fact that Trevor Chalobah has gone back to Stamford Bridge and Mark Gahey stays at Palace, I think he's a bit of a boost for them. But Trevor Chalobah himself has gone onto social media in the last hour or so to thank the Palace fans. He said it was short and sweet, but this club made such an impact on me so quickly, and he's got on record to thank all the Crystal Palace fans. So he clearly enjoyed it. Now he's got a big opportunity to go back to Chelsea and play there.
What do you think, Fraser? Blow for Palace to lose Chalobah, or a boost that they've kept Gahey?
A bit of both, I think. You know, Gahey's been a top centre-back. I think Newcastle were after him last season, so it's good that they're keeping him. But, you know, he was on loan. they were never really a Crystal Palace player, so they probably prefer that one rather than the other. So he's a great lad. I was with him at Huddersfield Town. It's good to see him hopefully going back to his parent club and hopefully gets a chance there, because he was a bit isolated in the off-season, training with the academy at kids or whatever.
Do you think he's ready for Chelsea? Because, as you mentioned, you played with him at Huddersfield on loan, so he's had a few loan spells now. Is he ready to... They've been linked, obviously, with Mark Gay. Is he ready to step up?
This is when we'll find out. He's getting... they've got a few injuries at the back. He can fill in a few positions, so he'll hopefully get some minutes on the pitch, and he's got the ability. I think it's just believing himself, having the confidence and the experience that he's gained over the last few seasons or whatever should help him to go back to Chelsea and
You speak to Chelsea fans as well. At back end of last season, when Chelsea's upturn in form under Mauricio Pochettino, Trevor Chalobah was trying to get back into the team, and that's why it was such a surprise come the summer why they were going to let him go, given the defenders that they had there.
We're going to talk about another former Palace player. You know the phrase, careful what you wish for. Maybe Wilf Zaha's thinking that, because he's not settled and he could be on the move again. Tim, tell us where now.
Yeah, I think another one that you will have played with as well.
Just talk about my friends.
MLS club Charlotte FC are in talks to sign Wilfried Zaha. He's currently on loan at the French club Lyon. The deal being discussed is a loan. Of course, they're managed by the former Villa and Leicester manager Dean Smith. The interesting one with this is that he's already played for 2 clubs this season, so he's a bit limited in terms of where he can move. But Charlotte FC are looking to sign him for the 2025 season, so he will be free to play for them.
Should he have stayed at Palace?
I think he wanted a new challenge, I think.
He was the man, though, wasn't he?
He was the man, yeah. He had buildings named after him. His face was on the walls down in South London. But, he wanted to push himself, I think, and it's not worked out the way he wanted it to work, but he's a top player. And hopefully, might see him back in the Premier League at some point.
Fingers crossed for him. Right, we're going to take a break. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk one of the most iconic deadline day moves of all time. Fraser was involved in it. He's going to tell us about it next. See you in a moment. Hello again. This is the Transfer Show. Former England, Manchester United, Tottenham, Palace striker Fraser Campbell still with us. And Fraser was involved in one of the most iconic deadline day moves of all time. Dimitar Berbatov going from Spurs to Manchester United. You went the other way. Tell us what that was like.
Well, it was all a bit mad, to be honest. I was sat with Steve Bruce, who was the manager of Wigan at the time. He was telling me how they want to play, me and Heskey up front. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So we got a fax sent. I'm showing my age, yeah. I got a fax sent through. We signed our bits, because I was away with England under-21s at the time. So they sent the fax through, we signed our bits, sent it back to Man United, the club, and they had to send something else back for us to sign as well. So we were sat waiting. Half an hour went by, 45 minutes. And by this, obviously, it's late at night, it's 10:30, 11, 11:15, 11:30. So Steve's obviously getting a bit antsy. Then while we're talking, I get a phone call from a withheld number. I'm thinking, ooh. He said, you better answer it, because it could be. So I answered it. It was hello? It was Sir Alex. Hi, Fraser. It's the boss. I was like, oh, hi, boss. I never spoke to him on the phone up until this point.
Wow.
By the way. Hi, Fraser, it's the boss. So what it is that we've got a £30 million deal for Dimitar Berbatov to come to United, and they're saying it's not going to go through unless you go to Spurs. So I know you sat with Steve, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then ring me back. I'm going to ring you back with your decision. I was like, oh, okay, boss. Okay.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. When he already knew the answer. I wasn't going to go against.
Was he effectively telling you you're going to Tottenham?
Without actually telling me, it was
that
like
5 minutes was sorry, Steve.
Yeah, basically. So I came off the phone and Steve's face dropped and he knew straight away. I was like, he said it's up to me, but I could sense that it wasn't really up to me. I was 20 years old and he was talking about £30 million, a lot of money. So I was like, bye, Steve, I'm off to Spurs. And that's how it unfolded.
And what did you feel like? Were you happy to go to Spurs?
Yeah, I was very happy. So in my England team, there was Aaron Lennon, Tom Huddleston, Jamie O'Hara. So a lot of Spurs players, same age group. So it was great. You know, I had a great time down at Spurs. Played in Europe. Played with like Modric, Jermaine Genius, Gareth Bale was there. So it was a great time.
That was a loan deal, wasn't it?
Just on loan, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a great time. Saw the sights of London, which I'd never seen before. Yorkshire boy on tour, but yeah, it's brilliant. It was all part of my footballing journey.
So when you were on loan, did you feel like a Spurs player or still a Man United player?
I think because I've been on loan previously to Antwerp, been on loan previously to Hull, I'd got that feeling of being a loan player. I was still friendly with my teammates and I still really wanted to do well. And you never know, but in the back of my mind, I always thought, this is just for me to do well here and go back and try and break into the Man United's first team. So that was in the back of my mind, but, you know, I give everything.
You mentioned all those players very quickly. I think we're running out of time. But if you were to name the best player you'd ever played with, you've just named, like, dropped back Modric.
Yeah.
But would there be one? Would it be a United player or one of the ones?
Probably a United player because I was a United fan, but the Bale and Modric, you know.
Michael Dawson's on next, by the way.
Yeah,
Don't worry about him.
You didn't let me finish. Dawson's in my top 5, definitely.
Well, listen, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been eye-opening. Dharmesh and Tim, thank you very much as well. That is the transfer show for today, a special one because we had Fraser Campbell with us. Coming up next on Sky Sports News, they've got 4 Premier League games for you and Rangers in Scotland as well, and EFL football. Goals as they go in from the EFL, and it should be quite some night of football. Enjoy.